capital. We spend 3 days in the German capital, documented by a site hardly anyone knows. Poverty, litter, open drug scenes, and prostitution. I talk to the people who live here and experience firsthand how the city is changing. Welcome to Berlin from the other side. Our first steps in Berlin already paint a grim picture. We walk through streets littered with trash. Here, for example, we see a massive pile of garbage right out in the open. Or clothing carelessly thrown onto the street. Pigeons, rats, mice, and other animals feast on this discarded food. As we continue walking through the streets, we search for functioning trash bins. It seems we're really onto a big problem here. Finding them is a major challenge. Even when they're functional, many are overflowing and are apparently only emptied very rarely. But it's not just household waste that ends up on Berlin's streets. Among bags and cans, we find some curious items: bicycles, mattresses, sofas, children's toys, drying racks, and even cars. Anyone who's done a bit of research shouldn't be surprised by these conditions. After all, Berlin is now considered one of the dirtiest cities in Europe. Some homeowners tell us that even more annoying than the trash are the graffiti scrawls. From house walls to windows, doors, and shop fronts, nothing is spared. Even the insides of building entrances have been defaced. Political messages are also sprayed across the city with paint cans. After these first impressions, we decide to explore the city center. The same picture here: dirty sidewalks, filthy streets. Groups of homeless people often claim the sidewalks for themselves. The mental and physical state of many of these people is shocking. They stagger under the obvious influence of drugs or have turned bus stops into makeshift sleeping spots. A man, visibly drunk, sits in the middle of the sidewalk. Passers-by walk around him as if he's not even there. Under a bridge, we find a cluster of tents. Here, many homeless people spend the night away from public view. A pedestrian tells us how he's experienced the changes over recent years.
How has life here developed in recent years? Has it gotten worse?
Violence has increased a bit. It's gone up. The percentage has risen, but what can I say? That's just Germany.
We want to get to the bottom of the drug problem. We quickly hear that much of it is connected to Görlitzer Park, known in local slang as the drug park. Despite warnings, that's our next destination. On the way to Görlitzer Park, we notice a clear cultural shift. Many shops have Arabic signs. Palestinian flags hang in shop windows, sometimes as political statements. Shisha bars are particularly popular. Next to them, we find translation agencies or even gun shops. An Arabic-influenced way of life has become part of the cityscape. The smell of marijuana hangs in the air. Some passers-by smoke openly. In street cafes, people enjoy the weather. We hear at least 20 different languages. The clothing has changed too. Many women wear headscarves or long dresses. The cultural difference is particularly striking between the few, somewhat disoriented-looking tourists and this way of life. which has little in common with traditional Western culture. The closer we get to Görlitzer Park, the more vacant shops we notice. Closed storefronts. Windows are boarded up, often the result of break-ins. Near Görlitzer Park, we suddenly hear loud shouts. Several men seem completely out of control, some even insulting passers-by. An elderly woman rummages through a trash bin for food scraps. On the ground, we find empty nitrous oxide cartridges, carelessly discarded by users. Arriving at the park, we notice not only the numerous dealers waiting for customers, but also the massive litter problem. The entire lawns are practically covered with trash. Birds pick at their lunch among the food scraps. A local resident tells us that this isn't an exception, it's everyday life.
I think it's good that you're showing it as it is so people can see. Berlin has always been dirty, but now tourists finally see what this city looks like.
The police? Nowhere to be seen. Drug deals happen openly. Still, I film here secretly. I don't want to imagine what might happen if we were caught with the camera. Women who come here to get the essentials for their addiction often earn their money in the nearby red light districts. In Berlin, they're part of the poverty-driven prostitution scene. You encounter them on every corner. They disappear with their clients into red-lit hotel rooms. These businesses leave no customer's wishes unfulfilled. While strolling further through Berlin's streets, we meet an elderly man who shares his struggles with us.
Do you live here? How do you manage as a retiree?
It's a disaster. I'm a retiree myself, but I have no chance here. It's very hard to survive. I worked in Germany for over 20 years, always paid everything, and now I can barely make ends meet. It's really terrible.
We decide to take a closer look at the living conditions this elderly man endures. On the way, we notice a heavy police presence. A large pro-Palestinian demonstration is causing road closures. There are occasional minor clashes. While filming, a police officer snaps at me. They don't want us documenting their work. Arriving in the residential areas, dilapidated high-rises catch our eye. Many investors seem unconcerned about their condition. Tenants live in sometimes catastrophic conditions. A train passes through the neighborhood hourly, making the ground shake each time. This is where Berlin's poorest live. Building facades are covered in graffiti. Doors and buzzers look run down. Mailboxes are bent out of shape. Trash is carelessly left lying around or even thrown out of apartment windows. The retiree tells us about regular water supply outages. When that happens, a nearby fountain is his only source of water. Inside the apartments, neglect is evident at first glance. Three exhausting days in Berlin come to an end. We're left with images that cause concern. How will this city develop in the coming years? If you liked the video, subscribe to our channel. That supports our work. See you soon from a new city.